Welcome viewers, my name is Shuaib Muhammad Omar. I am a co-founder of a non-for-profit called Truth Theory Center. It is based on our upcoming book called Truth Theory, which is about theology, ethics, and epistemology. If you want to know more, please look at our description below. That will give you a link to our website. Thank you.
There is a time, and in that time, a space. In this eventual space so far out of nowhere exists something. Something that exists in all the living and does not disappear when life ends. That something is located on a distant place. It is located near you, next to you, within you. Follow me into the recesses of what exists on and in between. The darkness and light in your mind, in your heart, and even in your eyes. Where some say the soul's window lies, drift with us where truth and illusion isn't far. Caught in a deadlock, which will win? Welcome to Truth, Talks, and Theory. Please stand by.
Hypocrisy, in its most base form, is to commit to what one would, in one way or another, condemn, reject, or rebuff. In this way, hypocrisy is deeply connected to the vice of deception and dishonesty. When a person exhibits hypocrisy, it is no doubt that we feel natural aversion for the individual as we take their stance, character, and words, and they act contrary to these words, a betrayal. It makes our reality uncomfortable, or it disputes our beliefs. In this way, a hypocritical action or soul can spur much hatred from others. However, to investigate what true hypocrisy is, we have to look at it existentially. The dualistic nature of mankind has always wrestled with this concept, so much so that we might even endure those with villainous characteristics that are open about their philosophies and coincided with their actions, as opposed to heroes that betray our perception and hopes of their sincerity. But in many ways we can empathize. Are we not all hypocrites? In this way, one can examine their own life and ask themselves, have I ever given advice or thought something was incorrect, yet at the same time fail to act out on the advice or to do what I deemed incorrect action? The line that separates true, or rather pure hypocrisy, and the false hypocrite is the distinction that is struggle. We, as a collective, as much as we hate hypocrisy for its betrayal of hope, we admire and passionately sympathize, even empathize with an agent of redemption. In this sense, one that has committed a wrong and hopes to correct themselves purifies the identity as a true hypocrite. In this sense, most of humanity cannot attain true, pure sincerity and honesty. So perhaps we should aim to be redeemers and only hypocritical superficially and not within our cores.
Welcome to Truth Talks and Theory. My name is Shuaib Muhammad Omar, and today we'll be discussing hypocrisy. Now, with hypocrisy comes hypocrites, and we want to investigate why do we hate hypocrisy and or hypocrites. I believe they are the failed hopes of how we desire reality to be, and in that sense betray our understanding or hopes of them. What that means is they are inconsistent with how we see or want to perceive reality. They are the outliers. This can be found much more likely in non-fiction than fiction, as fiction romanticizes a lot of human characteristics that are innately pure or uncontradictory. If you were to think about any children's book, they typically want to create characters that are very consistent with their characteristics, meaning they are unhypocritical. However, if you were to look at nonfiction, and let's say you were to study a bit of Roman history, like Caesar, you'll find Caesar as a liberator, wanted to have the voice of the people, however, also used this power to silence the voice of some people. Now, we're talking about large-scale hypocrisy with the liberator that wants power, but how does hypocrisy connect to you? If you're to look at your environment, such as your family, friends, or coworkers, you'll find they will have hypocritical actions. But one of the most often found hypocritical actions is the idea of lying or deception. So let's explore the idea of deception and lying. Lying is to fail to tell the truth, especially if we consider it as a trial in a person's life. This is a common hypocrisy we exhibit. Why is it a hypocrisy? Is because, generally speaking, we want everyone else to tell us the truth. So much so that, in fact, there are many fantasies around the idea of being able to read a person's mind and distinguish whether they're telling us the truth or not.
But this is phenomenal. You can hear inside my head. Why would you want to get rid of such a brilliant gift?
In this way, we desire the truth, but if we fail to be truthful ourselves, we are already on the miserly road of hypocrisy, where one only is not a hypocrite if they're swamped deep in rationalization or psychotic personality disorders that disallows the delusion they are under to be attacked. So if we cannot help but be a hypocrite, should we give up and accept our fates as hypocrites and lie our butts off? Nay, enter the false hypocrite, or how I like to put, the Redeemer. This sounds like a class of a hero from your favorite RPG. However, it is in fact a personal look at the classification of a hypocrite. Now, what we want to do is distinguish two hypocrites. The hypocrite, or what we like to refer to as the true hypocrite, is one that has little or no issue with having opposing advice and actions. They will say one thing and do another. One that can act with sobriety during the day and be a drunkard during the night, denying any intoxicating affairs or relations. When true hypocrites are confronted with the idea of hypocrisy, they typically exhibit pride or anger of being exposed. It comes down to them defending themselves. Like a mechanism, the blame is almost always placed elsewhere. They could say things like, I was only drinking because of the stress during my workday. They don't drink every day, but only a couple times. It can be so severe that they disconnect their actions completely from the matter of fact of the objective truth that they do or they do not drink. Fun fact. Definition of objectivity: the quality of impartiality, fairness, or matter of fact. True reality, not perceived reality. In any case, the true hypocrite might be entangled in many different vices we'll explore later on our channel that disables their illusory bubble from being popped. I guess if they were ever to encounter a paradigm of virtue with their ever large and pointy virtuous needle, they'll be in for a crude awakening. Now on to what we classified as the false hypocrite, or what we like to call the Redeemer. The false hypocrite is one that recognizes and is disturbed in one way, shape, or form that their actions and beliefs do not coincide, or that they are mixed up or conflicted by what they do. The false hypocrite may turn into a true hypocrite, or vice versa. However, it is important to note that the false hypocrite has a level of consciousness that, if carefully and meticulously pursued, purifies them from true hypocrite status. The solution here is a very powerful virtue by the name of struggle. To struggle is to defy our delusions and administer our conscience. When you think about the last time you committed to a good deed, you want to remind yourself that this is a better version of you, regardless whether a virtuous part of you came out or a viceful part of you came out. If you think about the last time you're impatient, remind yourself that you still can be patient. So viewers, I want you to understand that hypocrisy is very dangerous. Wherever it may lie within you, never accept it, and don't listen to those that would want to be pessimistic and say that that reality of you purifying yourself from true hypocrite status is undoable. There is always that potential. Don't forget that potential lies in the virtue of struggle. Now let me leave you with the last bit of poetry. For the immortal soul can only become endangered when hypocrisy settles. as hypocrisy is the soul killer.
Hypocrisy in its most base form is to commit to what one would in one way or another condemn, reject, or rebuff. In this way, hypocrisy is deeply connected to the vice of deception and dishonesty. No hypocrites, me no want no hypocrisy. No, me no want no hypocrisy, we no want no hypocrites.